Our new letter this week is the letter I. Our new friend is Inky Inchworm, and if you see all over Inky, he has the letter I, capital I and a lowercase I. And we are going to learn how to make that after our story. But before we get started, we have some vocabulary words. Vocabulary. So the first one you're going to hear that starts with the letter I in our story is instrument. Instruments are all those sorts of different things that we can play to make music. Intolerable. That is a big word. That means, if you can look at that boy's face, what do you think that means? He's not happy. So the things that are happening are intolerable, which means Inky does not like them. Infant. That is a different word for a baby. Igloo. It's a kind of house built out of ice. Insect. We see insects all around us, especially now that it's going to be spring soon. And an inn. An inn is kind of like a hotel. So let's listen for those words while we read our story. Our letter I friend, his name is Inky. Inky. Inchworm. So he looks like a little worm, and he's called an inchworm. And when little inchworms crawl, they go like this. They squish their body up and then they go forward. Squish their body up and go forward. Just like that. So maybe today you can try pretending to be an inchworm and squish your body up and then go forward and see if you can make it across your house that way. Okay. Once upon a time, there was an inchworm named Inky. There were many things on Inky's life that made life impossible for him. This is the story of Inky's troubles. Inky lived in an inn, which is like a hotel. Anyone would think an inn was a nice place to live, but it was not nice for Inky. Remember, we're listening for words that sound like I or I. The inn was full of other insects. When Inky became upset with their creeping and crawling around, he would shake his head and say, I. Can you do that? I. Also staying at the inn were infants who cried and fussed all the time. When Inky became upset with their noise, he would call out, I. As if the insects and infants were not enough for poor Inky, there was a band that played instruments at the inn. My, the noise they made was intolerable. When the instruments disturbed his days and nights, Inky would cry out, I. One afternoon while Inky was imagining what life would be like without insects, infants, and instruments, an important Eskimo named Ivan walked over to him and asked, "What's the matter, little inchworm? You look so sad." Inky told Ivan how the insects, infants, and instruments were making his life so impossible. Ivan and Inky said, I. Then Ivan told Inky about an interesting idea he had. Inky and Ivan went outdoors and began to collect blocks of ice. Together they built a special place called an igloo. It made a lovely home for Inky. It was peaceful and quiet, and there were no insects, infants, or instruments to disturb him. Inky thanked Ivan for helping him by inviting him into the igloo for ice cream. Inky lived happily ever after in his igloo. So there were lots of I words in there. And I think if I had to pick a favorite one from this story, it would be ice cream, because I love ice cream. And I bet a lot of you would pick that word too, because you love ice cream too. So why don't you go to the video on how to make the letter I, and then maybe you can go around your house and see how many I words you can find by listening for the I or the I, like ice cream or ice.